Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to DocuSweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honeys, which has, lots of different flavors, different textures in your mouth. At the end of the day, we'll serve you up something with a little dessert at the end because, honey, we are sweet.
So this episode is Love After Lockup, episode 17, Dirty Little Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
This was a good episode, and we open up this episode with Brittany and Amanda. I don't have a picture of them for whatever reason. Did I just delete every picture of like all the couples? I don't
No,
know
we
what's
have
going on.
never had a picture of Brittany and Marcelino. We
Oh.
do this every time. The dirty little secret is that we just refuse to upload a picture of them. Also, dirty little secrets to me was like, is the dirty little secret that everyone in this series like still smokes cigarettes? Like it's like 1990s, honey.
Yeah, they're all out of jail, and I think that because of being in jail, they literally all came out with a smoking, especially if they went in with an addiction. They came out with a smoking addiction because Brittany smokes, Amber smokes, Eric smokes, Branwyn and Chaz smokes. Like they just all smoke cigarettes. So
Yeah.
weird.
Do you think Lindsay and Blaine smoke cigarettes in that house together when they're alone?
Yeah,
Yeah, me too. Me too.
in the house. No air filtration system that helps to pump out the smell. They just wow. It's just like it's smoking cigarettes is a subculture that I just have never been a part of. Like I've smoked cigarettes, but I have never I've never desired to smoke cigarettes or to have it become habit forming. And I've seen people like be into it and like ugh, even vaping is gross to me. Like it's not my scene.
Well, do you remember me smoking cigarettes?
I do, and I never knew why.
I'll tell you why. Because when I was in college, I got to play this like Irish whore character who was like in her 50s and had varicose veins. Varicose is the word. And she smoked cigarettes.
She's
And
a whore with very close veins. Go ahead.
no, varicose. I don't know. I don't know what the very and also the veins are very close. And so I thought I was so method. Why I just like picked it up. And I mean, it like went from smoking these cherry dream cigarettes, where were like cherry flavored cigarettes. And then in the college era, I would also get these icy drops and then I would drop them into the filter of whatever cigarette I got to like make them instant menthol. And then I like went into like American Spirits, which always lasted way too long. And then I went into Parliaments. It was like very hot to like smoke a Parliament, I thought. And then we got into like Camel Crushes, which is like when you would crush the menthol bead in it. And then my final, which I think was my best cigarette choice, I used to smoke Capri Ultralight Slim Menthols.
I remember that. That is what I remember. Like every time we get into the car, you'd like roll down the window and like smoke a Virginia Slim, and I would be like,
I loved it. I like smoking those cigarettes because inevitably, if you went outside to like a bar or something like that, and like some gross dude would be like, "Can I bum a smoke?" I'd be like, "Well, how bad do you want that smoke? Do you want to put a skinny cigarette in your mouth?" And I would watch these men say no, and in my mind, I'd be like, "Yeah, that's right, bitch. Go back, ask someone else."
oh yeah, I was just never. I knew a girl who actually started smoking cigarettes because this guy she liked did.
Mm-hmm.
And so she could have an opportunity to go outside and smoke cigarettes. Now, like the idea of making out with a guy who smokes a cigarette is the most disgusting. Like I have just never, I haven't run into a man who smokes a cigarette. Like this dude that I'm dating told, I can't believe I just called him a dude. This gentleman that I'm dating,
Gentleman.
like told me that he used to like vape in his house and that he's since quit. And I thought to myself, oh, I would have never dated you if you vaped. And I would have been angry for it because he's great.
I mean, I wish I could say the same in that I am, like I have seen people in the past couple of years that do smoke and I'm never happy about it. I'm never like excited to like smell it on their breath or whatever. but there is something old school bad boy about it, which I wish I could tell you I'm not sexually into, but here we are. Only
All right.
the truth on Docu Sweeties, only spitting the truth. But yeah, with Brittany and Amanda, most notably, as we know, Brittany has been told that Amanda and Marcelino had some sort of like text conversation over DM or whatever DM conversation that Amanda wasn't forthright in early on or when it happened. And it also included Marcelino sending a dick pic. And so at this point, Brittany is now furiously driving to Amanda's work to talk to her about it face to face. And one of the first things we see, honey, is Brittany using an old school car lighter. Like you pushed it in, it pops out. It's a bunch of orange bright coals to, yes, honey, to make sure that she is smoking that cigarette. I mean, in a car. Yes, the window is rolled down, but barely. And this is like Las Vegas. And why that window isn't down like 100% more, I have no idea. And also, what is with like faux steering wheel accoutrements? I also like, look how fuzzy this one is. And also like, I'd be so afraid that like an ember from my cigarette would just like hit that, I'm sure, a very flammable, fuzzy steering wheel and just the whole thing go in flames. You know, well,
Yeah, when I saw it, I took a picture of it immediately because I said I have never actually seen anybody use that. In fact, when like I don't think my car has one. It just has the port so that I could put like a charger in there.
mm-hmm.
But the idea that any car would come with that still is crazy to me. And I know cars still do.
Do they? Do they? Like in a car? I mean, I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. Like, can you buy a car in 2020? What year are we in? 22, the year of our Lord, where that thing actually comes with a cigarette lighter and not just a little like cap for your cell phone voltage? By the way, it's so funny because I don't even think they make true like cell phone chargers like that anymore. Most new cars just have like either a USB or USB-C plug-in where that's where you charge your phone, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes the most sense. So, I mean, no shade to those of you who still smoke. It's just not a part of my world's perspective at this moment. So she goes and she calls Amanda and sees like where if Amanda's at work, and Amanda's like, yeah, I'm here. And so then, I think what happened is that producers were like, last year's punch or last season's punched went over so well. Keep your glasses on. If you need to see, put them on. Stop walking around blind for aesthetics.
It's not only that, it's also the like I always feel like the lights of
No, put your glasses on. This girl cannot see and walks around blind half of the time just to not have her glasses on, and I don't understand it.
Like right now they're a little dirty, so like they're a little dirty. So now my lights are like reflecting in them, and also I don't know. I also like sometimes like you know how you take your sunglasses off and you come in like the feeling of glasses on my face feels foreign, and I will subconsciously just take them off because I'm like those don't have to be there. That feels weird.
Crazy. That's crazy. Now, like I just realized that I didn't have mine on, and I would like to see. The world has just opened up. Also, what I realized is that I didn't download these pictures. I thought I had, and not all of them downloaded. So now I have to like go through and search to see which ones got downloaded and didn't. So there's that. There was 16 of them here last time, and now there's not 16. I don't know where they went.
Okay. Well, we have at least 2 for them coming up. I have the punch and the aftermath.
I see them. Mm-hmm. So they wanted there to be a punch this season, and so they got Brittany to do it. And I feel like it might have been against her parole. And she's having a calm conversation with Amanda, and she just out of nowhere punches her over Marcelino. And this is where I don't get it. Like she's like crying in her confessional with her high pony, which is so cute. And she's like, she didn't tell me, and like all this shit. And I'm like, you don't get to cry. You already handled it. You didn't lose your friend. You already handled business. You punched her, which is like crazy over this man. It just doesn't make sense.
Sorry. You also let them bone. We can talk over each other sometimes. I think we're just gonna have to, you know. Oh, she's chewing though. That's why she was like happy about. Like, you go ahead, so I can chew this chip. Yeah. So she obviously is like she's talking to her, and then, honey, she just lets it be known that Prison Brittany is still underneath it all.
I mean, underneath it all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just scary the way she just punched her out of nowhere. And Chris got the craziest photo of it. I mean, just like all you see is hair. She punched her friend.
That she used to bang. That she
Yeah.
also let her husband bang.
Yeah. Brittany's mean. This is the side of Brittany that I don't want to see. This was unnecessary because then she's like, oh, like she makes it seem as now she's gonna go ask Marcelino the same thing, and if he again doesn't tell her the truth, she's gonna punch him too. Like, no, bitch, no, this is not the Brittany I want to see. I want to see you cuss somebody out for sure and lay them flat, but then the push when she pushed Amanda to the ground was just it was so high school and so unnecessary. And then when Amanda's trying to like speak up for herself and be like, no, Brittany, that's messed up. That's this, she's like, you want more? Oh, then shut up if you don't want more. Get out of my face. I'm like, you came to her job.
Yeah.
And called her out. And then you're like going to push her to the ground and she falls to the ground, girl. It was embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for Amanda. And like also like, Amanda, didn't you serve time in prison too? Like, why aren't you better at fighting?
Yeah, she's a big girl though. I mean, Brittany's a big girl. She's tall, she's got arms, she's got shoulders, honey. There's a lot of power behind them shoulders, you know what I'm saying? It's like, she has like the body of like, Michael Phelps.
The body of Christ?
No. She has like a body of a Michael Phelps, so like there's arms and there's power behind it, I thought it was I think it's shitty also because it's like your situation is definitely, I know this is the aftermath. She just had to walk back into that auto body shop, honey, and just be like, do you need an extra muffler? I mean, like, I don't know.
Oil change is synthetic oil or real oil?
Yeah, I actually hated this for Brittany. I mean, as I agree with you, we want to see Brittany, the author, the mother, the very, very high-end real estate person who should be selling Nevada. It's not, Orange is New Black. Yeah, she like brought it back to, I mean, the bars. I don't know if did they say that? They brought it back to the bars like when she was in jail? No.
Oh, I mean, they don't, but maybe you do, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It was uncouth, and I wasn't here for it. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm gonna knock your pussy ass out made sense. This,
I know that made sense to you, Wah. And when that couple wasn't on this episode, I was like, Wah's not gonna like this episode. So it was actually surprising to me when you were like, it's a good episode. I was like, yo, even without your boo? Okay.
Oh yeah, my boo wasn't in it, but listen, we don't have to have him all the time. They can give him to me in bits and pieces so that it can keep me wanting more,
Oh,
so so basically she's like, I'm gonna go do the same thing to Marcelino. I'm gonna give him an opportunity to tell me the truth, and then if he doesn't, I guess I'll punch him out too. And like, I just don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right choice, Brittany. But let's move on to our next couple, and that's gonna be Chaz and Bronwyn. Oh God.
I know
Bronwyn is such a user, and I think that while they're both disgusting, the fact that she is using him the way she is, and then I don't know, we're supposed to feel sorry for her because she had to have sex with her husband.
I mean, I don't feel like she is to blame in the same way. I don't feel like any of the men that Cardi B, like whatever effed over are to blame, or I don't feel like any of the men that the hustler people effed over are to blame. Men put themselves in situations because they want the easiest possible, what they think, situation, which is, to pay a woman to make them whatever feel good, and they don't understand the consequences, So, I think that he is so gross. But anyway, he brought her to this hotel, and I don't even understand the concept of this hotel. It's like a bunch of shit everywhere, like sleep with me. It's like a horny pineapple hotel. Like, it's about sex with pineapples. I don't even understand. It's like a tropical, like sex. No, it's like sandals. I don't understand what this. It's a bunch of cartoon, like yellow pineapples everywhere, and being like, sleep with me and we're gonna bone. I don't even gonna get it. But so it's afterward, they are wearing like yellow robes, and like they did it. And he says that they did it. Look at I didn't understand the concept of this hotel. Like, this exists. Like, what is it?
I call this regrets. This is the look on her face when he's like, "Oh, so you're so beautiful, baby," and she's like, "Thank you," using her like sex worker voice
Yep.
where it's really high, and she's like baby talking. She's like, "No, I'm gonna give you a lap dance. Thank you, baby." And then afterwards, they go to kiss, and it's like tongues out galore. And then she's fully got her eyes open, staring at him. She sees this man as a trick, and she's taken the trick just a little too far, and is unable to like cope with it. And she's gonna say, "Sex with Chaz was different than sex with any other guys I've been with because he's like a cuddly butterfly." And I'm like, all I can think about when I think of a butterfly is I think light, airy, very little substance, and like you are not able to cuddle that thing. Okay. So what kind of sex did they have?
He's definitely more like a furry caterpillar than anything. It's crazy that she had her eyes open for that kiss because basically whole episodes have gone by with her eyes closed the entire time. So like, why'd you pick that time to keep them open? Who knows why? She does seem remarkably sober in these scenes as opposed to other scenes. Yeah, like it is and I'm someone who watched episode after episode of Cat House, you know, like I know all of the Cat House crew. This is from HBO, you know, this is before Lamar had his coma induced trauma there. But before that, you know, Cat House was a whole ass series that I ate up with Air Force Amy and Sunset Thomas and Isabella Soprano. Like I just, and I'm going to say this, I wonder what it would be like if Broadway actually went to a place like that and like turned her services, you know, because it feels like if you're going to be a sex worker, those places seem like, I don't know, like safer is what I was going to say.
I mean, I think they could be safer, but then as we saw with like Air Force Amy, there's still like drug abuse there. There's still like with Sunset Thomas and the owner, like, you know, he jumped from girl to girl. The last girl he was with that one with the short hair.
Yeah.
Like, and then remember the black girl that he was like Diamond or whatever her name was that he was like trying to like get with too.
Yes.
So like there is the predatory element of that man too. But yes, I do think you're right. I mean, there was a time and a place in the 90s for Cat House, and we were there for it and we witnessed it, and we're all the better human beings for it.
It was definitely aughts. 90s is more like real sex, you know?
Oh, was it aughts? I don't know. It was that time period is all the same to me. It's all like low res jeans, you know?
Anyway, going back to them. Yeah, so she definitely did it, and she had put it off so much, and he loved it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't understand what the concept of like having sex with a man that you then describe as being a butterfly during sex. I just think of, did he sprawl out on the bed with his like arms and legs, you know, and then just like flutter around? Like I don't understand even what that means.
Maybe she couldn't feel his penis, and so therefore it was like she didn't feel anything, and it was just like fluttering around in her vagina.
Ooh.
Anyways, so she has sex with him, and she says that she hasn't had a sex with older guys, and I'm like, you are an older woman. But the truth is that she's been in prison for 11 years. So she went to prison when she was 29. So when she says older, like she still in her mind probably is like, I'm 29 or like 30, you know? And so like she thinks of him as being like someone who's like super older. And I'm like, girl, you definitely have had sex with somebody who is that much older than you. Like he's like what, 50?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, so 10 years older. I'm pretty sure when you were 29, you had sex with men who were 39. I'm pretty, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not as though like you're just literally talking about the age because you haven't, you know, had the opportunity for that, but he's not out of your age range. So then he is so excited, and I don't know when he did this, that they're walking to the car, and he's like, well, baby, and he's gonna put her in, and he's like, I just want to let you know that like since we had such a good time 5 seconds ago, I'm gonna extend my stay so I can spend more time with you. And she's like, what? Why would you do that? And he's like, because I want to spend more time with you, sweetie. And she's like, but you know, I have school and I have so many things going on. And then he's like, well, because you know, I need to want to spend time with my wife. And then she's like, well, hold on. And her phone rings, and she's like, it's my PO or whatever. And she walks away, and it's this dude's boy who's like, I'm out. And she's like, oh, you're out? Okay. And then we have this like scene we see where she where he's like watching her. That wasn't the picture. Where he's like watching her as she's like in the corner, like talking to her PO, and he turns around to the camera and he's like, she's gotta talk to her PO because she's got a lot of things going on. I know she's got school, and I'm just like, why why aren't we having a realistic conversation about Branwen's school? This woman has school out of some kind of like book. You know what I'm saying? Like like her, I don't know. He's just too like silly with believing what's going on, and he keeps in the fantasy of it until she gets back and is still like, no, you need to go, I don't want you here. And then he like walks away, smokes a cigarette, and hands her the ring, and she's realizing that her trick baby is about to walk away. And so she tries to like tell him that he's tripping or whatever, and then he needs a moment.
Yeah. She just says her schedule is thusly. She gets up at 6 a.m. and she goes to school at 8. How long does school last? Because I'll tell you, like, school lasts to 3 p.m. Right? I mean, I'm just from my own history. Like, what? She has a child that she has no like responsibility for, and she just got out of prison. Now, I'm not saying she should be in a relationship, but it definitely doesn't have to be with Chaz. But like, she's constantly blaming her school as if people don't have jobs and have relationships that go on besides 8 to 3. Like some people work 8 to 5. Some people work longer. So it's just it's just so telling. And I think that for some reason, even though Chaz has been told left and right over and over again that she like doesn't want him there and like wants more time for school, it's like in this moment after they had sex that he tries to extend his stay, and then he finally hears her disappointment, and that she has to spend any more time with him, that it suddenly clicks. And it's so weird. Like, was he thinking that once he put it down that she'd be like, oh, there's the husband I thought I married, and I want to now be with him for the rest of his life, knowing that he had said that she was very dominant in bed, and that he liked that, and that means that he was very submissive in bed. I wonder what he thought he put down that night to warrant her wanting to see him again, other than, I guess, being married. But he's so foolish. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think at the end of the day, like, I can't suffer any fools, and no one could be a bigger fool than Chaz. And so he's a gross, ignorant fool, and I don't feel bad for him. And he's going to like badmouth Bronwyn, probably for the choices that she has always made. And meanwhile, he's the one that I think is gross,
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next couple, and that is going to be Lindsay and Deontay. And in this, we just see how sad Deontay actually is. Like, he's just sad, and we see that Lindsay has her boundaries, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mostly her boundaries to me feels like she does not want to hear from Deontay. It's very like Bronwyn and Lindsay have something in common to me, which is that they don't want to be with Chaz and Deontay, period. I mean, Lindsay's a little chiller about it. I can tell that the minute he put it down and she said jackhammer and then they woke up, she wasn't like, and plus I think also the fact that he's so bad with money makes it her feel like she wouldn't be able to feel secure with him, that she would have to do a lot of work. And I think all of that together made Lindsay be like, you're not the one for me. And unfortunately, at this point, Lindsay knows it, but she has not told Deontay or, or I don't know, herself. But she definitely told Blaine. She can tell Blaine on the camera, like, we have chemistry, but Blaine knows that, like, Lindsay's not trying to be with Deontay, which is probably why Blaine has, like, had no problem just laying in the leaves and waiting.
Yeah. I love the fact that she like lets the daughter know, Miley Grace, that you need to set up boundaries with these men. And that, she already told Deontay that she was taking the time out of the day to spend with Miley Grace, and that he didn't need any of that time, or that his whatever he was going through with his mother and filming was not going to be any of her business during that time frame. And she even then tries to confide in her mother about it, and her mother's just like, oh, is that what's going on? Okay, anyways. Like, the mother doesn't give a fuck. The mother's like, I'm not here for the shits, okay? I already gave all my time and attention to you, and you fucked it up. Now I'm giving it to Miley Grace. So I don't want to hear about this crazy person that you chose to be in a relationship with. And so we have a moment where, basically Lindsay is trying to like relate to her daughter. And I think she's having a hard time because, the last time she saw her, she was a little girl. And like, I mean, the 2 years from 12 to 14, you'll never get those back. Like, because I don't know how old the daughter is, but when we saw her, the season that we saw her in, she was like a 12-year-old, like a 12. This is like a 16-year-old we're seeing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, she's like, don't let them, always set up your boundaries. And I want to help you do the pageants and stuff like that. And so I just thought that was a really cute moment. But then also we have another mother and child duo, which is Deontay and his mother. And this man has taken her to a furniture store. And then he's going to like go into the kids section, and it's like the girliest of the girly girl rooms. And the mother's like, what the hell are we doing in this section? And she's like, well, Lindsay's got a daughter. And the mother's like, what, boy?
Foolishness. Yeah, like this. Okay, nothing makes sense at all. But let me just tell you what we're having to see. Deontay, who is billions of dollars in debt, you know what I'm saying? Like a country style billions of dollars in debt, is furniture shopping for an imaginary home that he owns with Lindsay and in Mississippi, where he is going to tell his mother he wants to move. And so he's furniture shopping where he lives, not Mississippi, for this conversation. Meanwhile, the mother knows, because mothers know everything, that her son, all he does is spend money in fruitless situations, and it's up to his ears in that debt, honey. And so she's just like, I cannot believe this. So yeah, he tells her that he, and Lindsay, want to move in together. And she goes, she doesn't have to, referring to Lindsay, a pot to piss in, nor even a window to throw it out of. And I want to be like, but your son, honey, like, if he doesn't have even piss left, they're going to come repo his piss,
I don't think the mother knows that. Also, let's talk about this mother's makeup, because I talked about her last season too.
Okay.
So she has the wherewithal to do like a wing and to do lashes and to give us she loves silver. Okay. She'll put it on a lid every single day. Every day. She won't blend it. You know who else won't blend? Sarah. But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
She won't blend it. She will not do her eyebrows. She will not put any on any foundation. She will not put on any concealer. But she'll put on a light lipstick. And she'll put on contacts.
Oh, yeah. And she also bleached her hair yellow.
So it's like, it's a lot. It's like, it's so interesting when you see somebody in like half glam, but for them, it's not. It's just normal.
Yeah, that's her everyday look. But yeah, it's like as if you're about to do full Kardashian makeup, but you start with eyelashes and just like the first eyeshadow, and then you just like leave. It's she once he tells her that he wants to move in with Lindsay, she just like throws a pillow at him like you did on when you were like an 8th grade sleepover, honey, at like the bully you hated during the day, but you're just like, haha, now we're playing at night. Take this, bitch. She like throws a pillow and she's like, foolishness. To me, this part felt really great, like Shakespeare,
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that people like Deontay who live in an imaginary world and want to bring everybody in their imaginary world like frustrate me, because he says after his mother leaves, like, dang, like she can't even be happy for me. It's nothing like, oh, good job, son, I'm happy for you. It's like those friends who continuously tell you about all the shitty things that their partners are doing, and then like they get married and then they want you to be excited for them, and you're like, no, but you should not marry that person because that person is a shitty shithead. You remember when that person just left you on the boat and you had to like call for help by yourself and I had to pick you up from the airport? No? Okay, you're going to marry that person? Okay, remember when that person just like didn't pay the light bill and the lights got turned off and then like I had to help you? Like, and you're going to marry that person? Okay, but you want me to be happy for you? I don't understand. What fantasy world are you living in that you want me to live in with you? I don't get it. And that's what frustrates me about Deontay. He's not to be trusted because he's a crazy person.
Yeah. Let's go back to my favorite shopping scene though, is like these women in this like pageant shop. They're looking at earrings, everything is like fake. Now, okay, so the whole thing is Lindsay had done a pageant when she was 18 in the same school that now Miley Grace is at. And she wanted to be in the pageant, obviously. She could not afford a dress for it because she had already had Miley Grace and like all the money was going towards Miley Grace. It's so funny because Lindsay and Miley Grace look so similar in age. It's crazy that they're parents. I mean, she's the mother and she's the daughter. So Miley Grace is trying on a dress. She wants to try on this pink dress. I'll tell you right now that I loved her pink dress. And I can tell you right now that Wah hated Lindsay's dress from that Lindsay's friend gave her that was also that woman's prom dress. And the dress is so specific, and I'm so sorry we don't have a picture for you. It's so specific that I was like, it's not even a good dress to rewear because it's so ugly that like everyone would remember it from prom as being the ugliest dress possible. And you were like, that's the one I want to wear.
Yeah, it's like if Guy Fieri could have made it like a prom dress, that's what it would have been. Like flames and then black.
Absolutely. And then Lindsay, because she is, I think, great, literally almost got runner up in that dress. That's how great she is because she worked past it. And we get a scene of Miley Grace trying to walk in heels. And Wah and I were absolutely flabbergasted that Miley Grace, I mean, it seemingly couldn't move in them. And they weren't stilettos. They were like chunky block heel. They were high for sure. But like, aren't we in an age of like people in high school like basically being like 40-year-olds already because of TikTok and Instagram and stuff? I'm just so surprised of all the things that this lovely girl, which I think that Miley Grace is great, like despite all the problems of like having to deal with her, you know, a mom in prison and out of prison and also like the drugs and everything. I really like Miley Grace's like whole vibe and I really want the best for her, which is another reason why I like Lindsay. But yeah, Miley Grace and these heels, honey, I mean, we got to do some work. I mean, let's bring in Shangela from, you know, Dance Moms, or let's bring in, you know, like some sort of walking person from ANTM. Like we need someone to help her.
Shangela was on Dance Moms?
Yes.
Oh.
I know. It's a little known fact from my reality TV vault.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was weird to see that, but you know, we wish them all the best, and we wish that. I mean, Deontay calling her and then leaving a voicemail, like, "Oh, you're my best friend now. I want to tell you what my mom said." Like, no, you have a best friend. His name starts with a D. I can't remember. You call that man. You don't. You go ahead and leave this woman alone so she could be with her family, or text and just say what happened and move on.
Or a voice note. Yeah, I know we want to move on. The last one I'm saying is like, it's really interesting and just how different is Deontay wants to talk to Lindsay about, and he wants the emotional support from Lindsay to have dealt with his conversation with his mom. And as we see, it's like Lindsay's like, no, bitch, I am the mom and I'm dealing with my child. So I'm going to need you to not be another child. But he's not, right? He has proven that he has like a child's mentality. And I mean, you know, obviously like he is really the poster boy for like why Chance and Taylor should not put everything on credit.
Yeah. Also, I mean, we've talked, not we, but like the Love After Lockup community has talked about it before. There's an idea that like Deontay is slow. So I mean, not slow enough to not be able to like have a full in life, but there's just like concepts he doesn't get, and he just wants love so bad. All right, let's move on to our next couple, and that's going to be Puppy and Amber. We got to see Amber with her natural hair, and I was feeling it.
Me too.
I love Amber.
I love that curly texture hair. Look, she must have just got out of the shower and like I don't even know if she combed it. You know, like it's just that's. And I'm also right now also rocking natural text, so I'm also feeling that. You know,
Yeah, no,
I slept in wet hair, and then I just woke up, and this is like what's happening with it. Anyway.
yeah, I really loved it. So she goes to Puppy's house. And it's a different house than the house that we had the last season. So Puppy and Eric have moved. And I don't know why.
I know why. Because I'm sure some stuff went down from whatever he does for a living to afford that house, and he probably had to change locations. There's a quick scene before she comes over, which is that, Eric is awake and like Puppy's like, here are the things that I bought you with the money that you gave me, which is, it's a self-made t-shirt with the S in dollar signs, and he's like, oh, I love it. She's like, great, here's it in white, here's in black and white, so everyone knows that you're self-made. They also just keep buying MCM stuff, like that brand, which always reminds me of like a Louis Vuitton kind of like knockoff brand, because everything looks like Louis Vuitton, but it's like just MCM. You guys know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, I've been to the flagship store of MCM. It's nice. Go ahead.
People love it, I guess. I'm so sorry. I don't know why. Every time I see it, I'm like, looks like Louis Vuitton. So she's like, I also have a surprise to tell you. And we're all like, that you're pregnant? And she's like, I applied for a job. And he's like, why? I don't want you to have to apply for a job. I don't want you to work. Don't look around at the palace I give you. Look at all the clothes I bestow upon you. What work do you need? I'll tell you right now, Wah was like, blink, blink.
It was, listen, all I want for a man is to tell me that I don't need to work.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that happens after that, I almost forgive, because that man doesn't want her to work. Now, it could be a form of manipulation and it's a way to control her and X, Y, and Z. But like, I would like a little manipulation and a control in my life right now.
You know what you sound like? You sound like Sarah being like, yes, he lies. Yes, he lies. I have been so put through the ringer with abusive men that wanted me to, and like Bobby, like men that wanted me to pay for, and men that wanted me to work. That, I mean, Eric lies, and sure, Eric wants to control my entire life, and I'm not quite sure what's happening with his health because it doesn't look good. I mean, like, having these, like, is Puppy just thinking that she'll get married to a very sickly man who, for some reason, has a bunch of cash, and that she'll just like get an inheritance in like the next 6 months? Which, I mean, look, it worked for Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, you're right. I do sound like that. However, I still stand by my I just, maybe for a month, I want a man to tell me that, like, I want a man to tell me that I don't have to work, and then I want to live with him for maybe a month or two and see what that feels like, and then just leave. Because the truth is I say all of this knowing that I could always leave. That if a man, he would have to literally chain me. Like, he would have to like physically restrict me, which even then I'm resourceful.
Yeah. I love that you're saying you're resourceful. Like, what does that mean? Like, she knows how to like cut the ties of a rope, just like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have so much confidence in myself. Like, I know physically a man could never overpower me. So the only way that would like be truly dangerous for me is if he like chained me and like locked me in there. But because I have friends and family, that I definitely would say, like, hey, if you don't hear from me, like, this is where I'm at, call the police. Like, no man couldn't just sequester me in like, the wilds of Alabama. Like, I'm not moving somewhere crazy. It would be in the same place that I'm from, and I have friends and family. And if you wanted to control me, sure. But then once I'm done with it, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Also, yes, we know that she's a sub. Also, she's on my Find My Friends all the time, so you literally can't steal her. I'll know where she is. I love that. So I have a question. Do you think that you could self-defense, like, not let a man overtake you? Is that what you're saying? You're confident?
No, I don't necessarily. I feel like physically he could overtake me then, but Eric leaves.
Yeah, Eric is not someone. Eric does not look like he could physically overtake anyone.
Oh, he does. But the thing is, though, he leaves. That's what I'm saying. It's not like he just sits in the house. He leaves. So like he's not somebody who like he leaves Puppy unchained. So if it were me and Eric, he would leave me unchained. And so the moment I got sick of it, I would go and live with my parents and then get a job and move on with my life. There would be nothing that he could do.
Yeah, so basically what happens with him is the same thing that's happening with Marcelino, which is that he goes to leave and they're like, where are you? And Puppy's like, where are you going? And he like won't tell her. That is such a crazy thing to me. Like, I don't know what I would do if I was with someone and I was like, where are you going? And they were like, fuck you, I'm not going to tell you, or not tell me, or be like, it would just be like, I mean, unless you are literally going to buy me flowers or a birthday cake or my engagement ring, you're not. I'm very possessive though. Like I can't stand for that. Absolutely. So let me tell you what happens. So after that happens, he like leaves. She's like by herself, God bless. And then it's like a different time, like the next morning. Then Amber comes over with her like freshly showered, natural texture hair, and she's like, "Where's Eric?" And Eric's like sleeping, but he didn't come home last night, so he must have like got back at what time, we don't even know. And then they're like talking, and then Eric comes in and he's like, "Yeah, I heard you knocking, Amber. Like you woke up the whole place." She's like, "Good, I want people to know." And it's like they have somewhat of a hostile relationship, where it's like they know they don't like each other, but like they both exist. And Eric's like not gonna hang around with her. And like Eric makes it seem like he doesn't want to go on a double date with Amber and her boo and Puppy, but like he doesn't want to be around Amber or probably anyone that likes Puppy, period. And so he jets out the door, and then Amber looks at Puppy. It's like, where's he going? And Puppy's like, I don't know, and then she's like, well, bitch, let's go fucking find him. And Puppy's like, got it. Me and this like sexy Ariel shirt. I mean, I don't know what kind of shirt it is, and like my flower leggings, honey, is off this couch, off of it.
Yeah, it's so funny because Amber wants to fight Eric and she's willing to fight Eric for Puppy, but Puppy's so demure with it that and because she's being taken care of and she wants for nothing, that she is just like, I don't know, Amber, like don't do that because he's gonna get mad. And Amber does not care at all if Eric gets mad.
Yeah.
She wants to know all the things. Like, the fact is that Eric could just lie and say, "Oh, I'm going to my friend's house." But he doesn't. He tells her it's none of your business, and she's supposed to just sit back and take that. So they decide that they're going to follow him, and Amber follows him, and Puppy says, "You got to be careful because this is the kind of guy who drives in the rear." So Puppy knows that Eric is constantly looking in his rearview mirror to see if somebody's following him.
Police.
So like I want to know how Amber was so bad at following, or maybe she truly just didn't care and wanted him to find out. But anyways, they pull over because they get caught, and then he gets out of the car and he like runs up to the car as if he's about to do something, and he's like, I'm 40 years old, I don't need nobody following me and asking me what I'm doing. And he keeps talking to Puppy the whole time, and Puppy just sits there looking like a little puppy dog staring at him. And she's like, man, Amber, you making things bad for me and Eric. Man, Amber. And Amber's like, listen, bitch, you're the one who was telling me all this tea about him. I didn't ask you. You call me and complain about him. So don't come at me now because I'm trying to do something as your friend. Like, you were in a bad situation. You don't need to be in this situation. He is disrespectful to you, and I'm trying to get you to see that. And Puppy's like, no, I feel stupid. I feel so stupid. And I said, Puppy girl, just go on ahead and go home and tell that man you're pregnant. Like I get you're nervous and whatever about it. And somebody was like, oh, it's because he might like physically abuse her. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like if he did, Amber would know about it, and then Amber would have to kill him. But when he drives off, this is what we see. This man has two different color eyes. Okay? And one is an unnatural anime blue.
I don't get this. If you look really closely, the green eye that's on the side, if you're watching Patreon, you can see what we're looking at, which is a picture. Ha, join our Patreon, $10 a month. But on the side of my face, which is I don't know what side of the screen, I'm just going to say the left, maybe. Like that's his natural eye. You can see kind of like a ring of brown, like as if.
I don't think it's his natural eye. I don't think that's his natural eye. I think they're both contacts.
For sure, the other side is a blue contact. By the way, again, someone smoking in their car with only a crack down. Look, the tiniest sliver, like to the point where that he doesn't actually ash outside that. You can't even put like he's ashing in his car. God, I don't know why I keep like harping on people smoking. It's just that I don't see it that much in the car like that. God, it's hard. But yeah, like I at this point don't know what's happening in the Kate Botsworth hell of this picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, are they both contacts, or is the anime eye a fake eye? Like,
say that again. Anime air.
I know. Is the anime eye a fake eye? Like, is it a you know, fake ball eye, like, is it pop out? I, I mean, this man does look like he has like a range of diseases. So if you told me that like one of the eyes fell out or, like one of the eyes were no good, I'd believe it. Why are you laughing so hard?
He looks like a serpent to me.
Oh.
He looks like a serpent. He looks crazy and dangerous to me.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like bad fucking news, which is another thing about like Puppy, like it does not he has such horrible, dark, evil, bad vibes. How did this man even once charm you? Or like what was the initial meeting that even could have cemented anyone to be with him? And he has an ex too. Like he is so bad news. Does he just throw money at women? And
Yeah,
that's
he must be very generous. Like he must be very generous and complimentary and like in the beginning. Because I'm just like, how is it that Puppy came out of prison and found her a man that's gonna take care of her?
was so jealous.
I'm so jealous. I mean,
Puppy should just have this baby and then get him for child support.
oh, that man doesn't.
What?
You think that okay, let me look deep into your eyes.
Okay.
You think that man has a job on the books?
So are you? But he would.
So wait, are you thinking that drug dealers get put up for child support? How does the court know how much they make, Chris? How would they even make somebody who has no W-2 pay child support? You have to have pay stubs.
But you have possessions you could take, right?
No.
He has assets, like he has a house.
So, oh, okay. Well, I mean,
I don't know. No, listen. Do I know all of the ins and outs of child support? No. Obviously.
No, you need to have a paycheck. You need a W-2.
Okay.
A W-3. Sorry. So, like, yeah, no, that she could take him for child support all day, and then he would probably find her for like trying to stick the courts after him because he's been in prison. So he's like, oh, now you're gonna call the courts on me?
That one's been in prison. But yeah, basically Amber, I feel bad because I do love the scene of Amber and Puppy like on the run, and like getting after him. And Amber really is asking the questions we all want to know, which is like, Puppy, like, how could you do this? Like, this is bad news and you have more self-respect and he treats you so shittily. And Puppy really is just like, I mean, very much Sarah vibes of just like, well, this is what I'm going to settle for because it's better than other options.
I understand it.
I know you do.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Chance and Taylor. I'm gonna let you take this one. This is short and stupid.
Okay. How did she feel about it? I didn't like it either, but let's talk about it. So, God, this is such a good picture of Chance. And like in the sense that if I was on a prison dating website, I'd be like, oh, fuck, should I take a chance on Chance? I don't get that chance. Is a chance in love? I'm not quite sure. And then you see him, you're like, what? So Chance wanting all the things, as we all do. Like the family, the white picket fence, the house, the red horrible truck with like
red picket fence.
Red picket fence. He goes and tours like a home because he just got a $200,000 loan, which I was like, how'd you get that loan? But if I don't know if he watched a TikTok video on how to build up your credit fast, but like not meaningfully, which is that he just has taken out credit card after credit card and then will just like charge like, $100 on it and pay it right away. And then be like, great, 2 more points. Like in some sort of video game to max it all out in this like big ass loan where he wants to now buy a house, which is so crazy. This house that they're looking at, nice looking house. They say it's $195,000, which to me was like, oh my God, you can somewhere buy a home, a multifamily home with a backyard for under $200,000. That is absolutely crazy. Yeah. But that is what this house is. So there's many rooms. There's a master. Like
they're in St. Louis, and here's the thing: every room, he's like, "Oh, I could build this, and this could be 2-story." And I'm like, it sounds like you're about to be crafty with this house, and like I'm uncomfortable with that. We saw what you did for Bobby's bedroom. Okay, we don't trust anything that you're able to do.
Absolutely. But then the biggest kicker is then they go outside and it's like this little backyard. He goes, great, great, great. This is where I can put the storage unit for Bobby to live in. And maybe I can put one storage unit this way and the other storage unit that way. It's like a little like perpendicular T or whatever. He doesn't say that part. Obviously I do. He doesn't know the word. He does not know the word perpendicular, please. But like, yeah, and that'll be, I'll just put in plumbing. And these men are like looking at him like, you're absolutely insane. Like, what are you talking about? But meanwhile, he now wants to do this without talking to Chance, who they've already had a whole conversation. Now he does shit without bringing Chance on board.
Taylor.
You're right. His name is Chance. Taylor's pregnant, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like Puppy, she's pregnant. And just like Puppy, she is not excited to tell Chance. So they go out to dinner and it's date night. And they go to like this place called like Griotto's Grill or something. They kept showing the name, honey. I was like, Griotto really excited to put their restaurant on Life After Lockup. Hilarious. And it's a pizza parlor there. Like, and they have like a wine menu, you know, which is like, okay. So they want to go to the pizza place. And let me just tell you, if you go to pizza place, you're probably going to get red wine. I mean, and if it's going to be Italian wine, it's probably going to be like a Chianti Classico or a Chianti Classico Reserva would be the best one, whatever, God bless. A Valpolsino if you don't want that kind of thing. But like, that's usually what you drink wine-wise at an Italian restaurant. This person is like champagne. Okay, so not even Prosecco. Prosecco is the Italian version of sparkling wine, but champagne, which, you know, God bless, which you only can get from Champagne region. I'm sorry, I took my sommelier course. So anyway, the pizza menu comes and he's like, I will be having the crab ragu pizza and the lady corn nuggets.
I mean, listen, I give him points for ordering for her and doing what he needs to do in that respect and for wanting to celebrate. But he is a whole mess for not telling her that he's thinking of buying a house. And then she even says that she's queasy because he's been spending money and not talking to her about it. And he gets mad and says, why are you ruining our date night talking about stressful stuff? And then me as an audience member goes, because you guys are on a TV show. Mm-hmm. And you know it's your date night, but it's your date night partly because you're on a TV show. Mm-hmm. And we have to say something that's going to be controversial during this. And this is what she's chosen. She's not telling you that she's pregnant because she wants to keep that a secret. You're not telling her that you've purchased a house that she told you she did not want because you would like to keep that a secret and has a surprise. So these two are not going to go well. And I feel for her. I'm sad for her, but she also wasn't on birth control. So she knew she was going to get pregnant. And he's an idiot. He's a fool. He's an idiot. And he's going to run them into the ground and get into debt over their heads, trying to make up for all the time he wasted being a drug addict in prison.
Yeah. So the pizza comes, guys, and it's disgusting. Okay? Everything Law said, sure. Let me go back to this pizza, honey. Who the hell would order crab ragu pizza? I was so like upset about it. There was like not any toppings. You imagine how gross. Like, what? She gets her corn nugget. She's happy about it. She has like a Sprite. You know, he has like a whole bottle of sparkling Moscato to get down. It's so sweet. You know, like what a very hellish dinner, especially for me to watch. She's disgusted by the pizza. I almost thought he was gonna like know that she was pregnant by being like, well, you keep saying that you're like nauseous and like blah blah blue, like and you're not drinking alcohol. Like, are you? Well, I don't know why he just didn't say maybe you're pregnant, and just so we could watch her face. That would have been good, producers, but you didn't do that, did you, producers? Anyway, so basically, I hope Bobby's doing good, you know, and that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, I want to say one last thing. I hated the way he tried to make it seem like the reason why he's not making more money right now is because he's taking time out from all the other job opportunities that he's been getting to spend time with her and the girls. Mm-hmm. No, don't use that as an excuse. Just say, hey, the next month I'm going to be working all the side jobs that I can in order to make this work. And the thing is, though, this man is setting himself up for a lifetime of just constant working with all of his like desires.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. No, just kidding. Well, can I do a favor? Should we save Sean and Sarah for last, and can we just get through Brittany and Ray?
Yeah.
So, hey, like, Raw. I mean, actually, can you just take this one? Like, I don't care about them. This was like a boring one. You talk about them.
So Ray and Brittany. Brittany goes dress shopping with her mother, and her mother mentions to her that they should do a prenup because of the land that is in the family that the parents have worked very hard for, and or at least it got sent down from the grandparents or something like that. And so that turns the mood off for Brittany. But while she's there, she does try on some dresses that Chris was really into. And so we took a picture of like one of them or two of them. And you can see if you're on our Patreon, patreon.com/DocuSweeties, $10 a month. And she can't concentrate on it because she says the vibe is thrown off because of the prenup conversation. And her mother's like, I do understand that was a lot to throw at you right now. So I do understand if you don't want to talk about it, but have this conversation with Ray sooner than later. And so she's like, okay. So she goes home and she presents this conversation to Ray as though, her mother brought it up and it's very practical. But when Ray is against it, Brittany gets upset and is like, this has nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with me. I'm just telling you. And he's like, it has things to do with me because I have to sign a paper. So what do you mean it has nothing to do with me? Like, you're bringing it to my attention because I'm going to have to like fill out documentation. What? And so then he gets upset because he's like, what am I have to do to make you and your mama happy or something like that? And she's just like, I know why you made me. And then it becomes this argument it doesn't need to become, because the truth is that all she had to do is say, hey, my family has land and my parents want to ensure that it stays with me and my kids. So unfortunately, that means that if you and I were to get married and then get divorced, that you would not be able to have access to that land. So you're going to have to sign away your rights to that land. And that could have just been the end of it. And he was mad, then he was mad. But like, no, she wanted to get mad with him, which is so interesting that couples do this, where they just can't let the other person just be mad and be the calm one. They got to get mad with them to show like how frustrated they are too. And it just doesn't help anybody in any situation.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, it would have been smarter if she like was like, how my dad won't give us his blessing. And he'd be like, yeah, because I went to go ask him, he wouldn't give the blessing. Well, he told me that he'd be more apt to do that if we decided to sign this prenup so he knows that his land's going to be protected. Like, she should just blame her dad. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our next couple, and that's Sean and Sarah.
Yep. Oh, I was gonna do it. You're watching Patreon. Every time we talk about Sean and Sarah, we show their picture first, and then we have to show immediately Butthead if Beavis and Butthead. I can't, because I'll never get over how much they look alike. Yeah. Wah.
We have to go back and forth so that you guys can truly understand the visual of what's happening.
It is the mouth and nose. It's so crazy. And eyes, little tiny eyes. Well, I don't know.
Okay. So we've got a scene where they're putting the finishing touches on Sarah as the bride, and we get this like great shot of her mother.
Oh.
I mean, this toothless blue-eyed woman is very interesting for me. So okay. Sarah refuses to blend her makeup. She does this thing where it's very like early 2000s makeup, where she will put a color on her lid, like a light color. And then in this like butterfly crease thing, like this, like she will do a dark color. And then she will put a light color up here, but there is not a blend to be had. So it gives the effect of like ugly is what it is. It gives the effect of ugly early 2000s makeup, and it's so sad. It's so sad that she skimped out on getting her makeup done for her wedding in order to save money.
Yeah, so it's like she's trying to do an eyeshadow cat eye, but it's like, is that what it is? What?
Yeah.
She did this herself. Wow. And also, like, there was a lot of interesting things. Like, it's not bridal makeup at all. It doesn't have, I mean, not that it has to be, but it is definitely 90 early aughts, where it's like grays and silvers on top and purpley berries on the bottom.
Yeah. And there's nothing below that. Look at Everything on top, but there's nothing underneath her eye.
Yes.
If anything, it's like a white shimmer.
Yes.
There's nothing to round it out. It looks like to me it looks like anime makeup. Like if I were an anime character, like that's what it's kind of giving right now.
I can see that. Yeah, she there's been a lot of like tricky true chews this episode, this season with them. I'm so sorry. I'm like so tired. I don't, and who knows what I'm saying. But basically they keep like, wanting us to think something's gonna happen, but then it's like, not that. So like, she's supposed to have her first look with Sean. She can't wait to have her first look with Sean, which is like when the bride and the groom look at each other before they get married, which you're not really supposed to do, but that happens sometimes for pictures, so we can see like him like cry and stuff like that. It's supposed to be like a lot of pictures like this, like
Oh, I didn't know what that was. I was like, this is a made up thing. I've never heard of that ever in my life.
no, it is. It's unfortunately a real thing. But it's not Sean about to have her first look. It's Kelly. Kelly shows up there.
And I love the way that Sarah reads Kelly in her confessional. She's like, not only is it not Sean, it's Sarah dressed like that. Like she's going to a freaking funeral.
Kelly.
Like it's crazy. Yes, yeah. It's Kelly dressed like that, like she's going to a freaking funeral. Like I love the way she clocked the way that woman was dressed, and I was like, there's a lot of other people that at your wedding that you could clock the way they were dressed. Namely, this woman who's sitting next to your mom. That woman is wearing a T-shirt.
Says Apple Barn. This woman is wearing a T-shirt that says Apple Barn. Okay, there's so many questions. To me, it was like, okay, was this woman actually invited to this wedding, or were there some empty chairs and passerbys were offered to be on a TV show and they needed an extra seat filler next to the mom? Or no, was this woman like, oh great, I'm going to go to Sarah's wedding. Let me see what I'm going to wear. How about this T-shirt that says Apple Barn on it? It's so embarrassing. Like I think it's so embarrassing when people wear very casual things to events that are not casual. I went to a gala on Thursday and most people were dressed to the nines, but there was this one kind of like maybe like 30-year-old dude wearing a short sleeve like cotton shirt with like shorts, and he made a mention of it once. Like I was never talked to him once, like that seems crazy. So he was like kind of behind me and I heard him say like, I know I'm underdressed, and that was the only time that I was like so badly for him to see me shoot a look of death and like, yeah, why the hell are you wearing that? It said gala on the invitation and the place itself is fancy. Like like where did you think you were going? You were going to go see what, Top Gun Maverick again? I don't even understand. So
it's always so interesting to me when people, because what it is that this person looked in their closet and realized that they didn't have anything remotely close to formal, and that's probably the most formal thing that they had. But I'm like, that's when you need to dust off the credit card and go to a store. It's not as easy for men to do it because they have to go to like I don't know where men buy clothes, but he has to go there.
Men's Warehouse.
Though, yeah, Men's Warehouse. Women can go to like TJ Maxx. Like women have so many more clothing option places to like go. If she went to the Apple Barn, she could have went to the Clothing Barn. Like there's a store that would have at least put her in a dress. Now with that dress
barn, there's one called Dress Barn. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the thing that's crazy to me is that, yeah, I get that you don't have anything formal, but you don't have anything dressier than a T-shirt. That's what's weird. So anyways, she ends up having this conversation with, I guess I don't have the picture of that either. Dang, you see, like I had all these pictures in here. Disappeared. Kelly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming. Mm-hmm. So I think what happens is that when my computer has too much stuff on it, it just like sends it to the cloud and then would take it off of here as well. So yeah, Kelly is wearing thigh-high boots. Like, they ain't much taller than each other. So for Kelly to be this much taller than her is like crazy. And then she didn't even put like a stitch of makeup on, not a mascara, nothing. She just put her hair back, a side part ponytail. Girl, you could have just left your hair down. It would have been dressier than for you to put your hair back in a ponytail.
It's interesting though. He does have a type. He likes short white women with crazy colored hair. You
Yeah,
know,
he
like
does.
yeah.
So so Kelly says that she wanted to dislike Sarah, but Sarah was so lovely and understanding and wasn't mad or like, aggressive to her. And so she's like, I like her. And I just wanted to let her know, which, I mean, this obviously wasn't the right time to let her know what you knew about Sean. And if Sarah had gotten upset, she would have been 100% within her rights to be upset for Kelly trying to warn her and basically ruin her wedding when there's no reason. Because the truth is that I'm sure Kelly had opportunities to talk to Sarah had she been nicer to Sean during the beginning parts of the relationship. If she had said like, hey, I would like to talk to your wife just to better understand like what the expectations are with my kids and like, getting to know them, like whatever, then she could have had this conversation with her prior to the wedding. But to use this moment to tell to this is rude. But anyways, Sarah was like, you know what? I know he's a liar, but Sean is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And honestly, I don't know that I would ever find better. And the truth is, after seeing her mom and her mom's boyfriend, I don't know that Sarah would have ever found better either. Her mother was trying to save and protect her, but Sarah doesn't have a job, does now doesn't have to work. She doesn't have to worry about anything because Sean has swooped in and saved her.
Mhm.
So it makes sense, and I see why she did it. Um, and she was even kind to Kelly in that moment. Now, next episode, it looks like Kelly's not going to be too kind and not going to act right. Because Kelly was like, "Oh, you don't think that I'm here trying to steal Sean, do you?" And I'm like, "It's giving. That's what it's giving, Kelly."
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Sean has a tearful moment with his daughter too, where
Mhm.
his daughter really forces, like he tries to like get her to be quiet about how she's feeling, and she's like, "No, you're gonna mess it up, and I don't want that." Like the daughter says everything that she's feeling, and it
Mhm.
makes Sean cry, and he can't stand it. He can't stand it, and he's like, "I promise I won't. I promise I won't. I promise I won't do that again." And she's like, "Okay." And so I loved the way that the daughter held him to task in that manner and was very much like, I need to get this all out because let me tell you how you've messed up. Go ahead.
I'm good. Want to move on to Destiny?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. So, now another thing that like the producers, of course, have been teasing this entire time is a Destiny, honey. Gonna come on this plane, honey. It's gonna ruin the wedding, honey. Like they even gave us one of these, like, if anyone here objects to this wedding, and we're like, where's Destiny to come running in and be like, you owe me $60,000 for who knows what? I'm not quite sure, but Destiny, my loves, never got on the plane because she never bought a ticket because I don't think it was all fake. But anyway, God bless. That she got to the hospital and she started to have contractions, and like specifically, like now she's having them within one after another. So she gets into a car like she's gonna drive. The next scene is that she's in the back of the car. The producers are driving, and the producers are like, "How you feeling?" And she's like, "I'm having a contraction right now." The producer's like, "Okay, that's 2 in 10 minutes." And then she calls her I think her they say husband, and so and also I guess the person that put that baby in her, and she's like, are you gonna come to the hospital? Like, I don't even know where that person is in life, like does he not want to be in a show, or like does he think that he's been with a woman the entire time, like that's like not trying to get 60,000 from her ex? We're not quite sure. But the last scene is her like about to give birth in the backseat of the car, and she has like a full vape pen in her hand, honey, and she is huffing and puffing away like a little dragon, my loves, just like whatever it takes, I guess, to go through labor, but I mean, that's not a lip gloss. That's not lip smackers. That's not like a Lisa Frank bulbous pen, one of those pens where you like have multiple colors, you just push it down like pink and purple and yellow. It's not one of those. Wow.
She's a terrible person. She's a terrible person. She's going to be a terrible parent. And I really do feel bad about the circumstances. I hope that the father is in a better financial place so where when Destiny goes back to prison or does whatever, that the baby can be given to a family who's probably better than her. She is irresponsible. She is awful.
Mhm.
And, I had a friend in high school who smoked cigarettes during her pregnancy because the doctor told her that it was okay if she only smoked like one a day. And as a high schooler, as a fucking 16, 17-year-old, she couldn't, like, she's like, oh no, the doctor said it's fine. It's like crazy to me, people who will just ride the edges of whatever. Like, it's like, listen, me, I try to be early so that I'm on time. I'm never gonna ride the edge of like, oh, it only takes an hour and a half to get there. Like tomorrow, I have a meeting, I have a doctor's appointment. I'm gonna leave here 2 hours early to get there on time. It's probably only gonna take me an hour and 15. But why chance it? Why chance it? And it's just like the same thing with Destiny. You know you're not supposed to be vaping. Why chance it? Why? So what, you can have, I don't know. So that what, you could feel good for 5 seconds when the nicotine hits, for what? So that you can sleep for an extra 15 minutes? Like, what does it matter? Like, if it's not, I don't know. Anyways, I just get really frustrated with people who do things like this, and it just shows like a level of irresponsibility, and it shows like a level of like laziness that you wouldn't sacrifice. I shouldn't say laziness. And I should be more compassionate, and I should go, this person has an addiction.
Yeah.
And like, because people could say that about me and like eating, like, oh, you shouldn't eat that, so just don't. Let me tell you right now, in the moment, it feels like that's all I'm thinking about. And if I could just have it, everything would be okay. And so maybe that's what she's going through. But besides that, she's an awful person. So
I'm just going to say this. I think that it's indicative of someone who will make horrible choices regardless if she's pregnant or not, for herself or anyone else. I mean, she made horrible choices when she did makeup on her mom. So like, we can't trust her to make good choices for someone else if she's not going to do it for herself. But yeah, I'm like low key afraid like what this baby's going to be like, or like what this baby's life's going to be like. It's like, again, it's like one of the darker moments of watching a show like this. We have to end on a sweet note, just because I feel like, let me just say this. I was happy about two female relationship empowerment moments. It was happy for me to see Kelly and Sarah at least come together respectfully over two blending families and not scream at each other. That made me happy. And then also Puppy and Amber's relationship made me happy. So I feel like they have each other's back, and I feel like I liked, Puppy and Amber, and I liked Sarah and Kelly. And obviously conversely, Brittany and Amanda, really, really, that should hit the fan. So
yeah,
that's all I have to say about this ep. Anything else, boob?
no, that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We want to give you the opportunity right now to take out your phone and go to Instagram and follow us.
We want to give you the opportunity to follow us. So please look up DocuSweeties on Instagram, DocuSweeties1 on Twitter. There's also a TikTok. And but what if you want to look at all the pictures and also want to see Wah and I in glasses? Wah, how would you do that?
You would do that on patreon.com/DocuSweeties. That is $10 a month for you to get the content as soon as we're done doing it, and it's going to be unedited, and you're going to see us like in our habitats, living our lives, laughing and coughing as I am, because like, girl, she slept with the air conditioning on last night and now she has a tickle in the throat. So
Oh yeah, and also if you like wanted to know what I've done this entire time, I'm having an ant outbreak as we speak of where I'm sitting. And so I'm so disgusted that I keep putting myself on mute and then spraying the area around me with the only thing I have, which is the 7th generation like disinfectant spray. Cause like I can't stay, I'm like, this is my bedroom and there's ants and I can't just like spray Raid and go to bed tonight. And so like, I don't understand if this is supposed to be better, but like it's 7th generation. So I'm just like, I'm not even really, I think I'm killing them truly by just like spraying enough of this stuff that I'm drowning them in it. Anyway, so that's a lot of information. We love you guys so much. If you haven't yet, please make sure that you subscribe to the podcast and give us 5 stiggity stars. We'd really appreciate that. Stiggity.
we would.
We love you guys.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.